Rain hammered the dusty road as Elena, her white dress torn and soaked, ran through the darkness, heart pounding like a war drum in her chest. Behind her, torchlights flickered in the distance. They were coming. They would drag her back to the church and force her to marry the man who had bought her like cattle. Her lungs burned. Her shoes were gone. She could barely see through the storm, but still she ran. Just when her strength gave out, a horse's hooves thundered behind her. She stumbled, prepared for the worst. But the horse stopped. A deep voice, steady, calm, cut through the chaos. "Ma'am, you're bleeding. Get up. They're almost here." She looked up and saw a tall cowboy on a black stallion. Raindrops slid down the brim of his hat, hiding his eyes, but something in his stillness told her he was not a threat. "I can't go back," she whispered through trembling lips. "Please, just let me disappear." He extended a hand, not forceful, not demanding, simply offering. "They won't find you," he said. "Not if I ride." In that moment, with thunder roaring above and danger closing in, Elena made the choice that would change everything. She took his hand, and the silent cowboy pulled her into a new destiny. Elena clung to the cowboy's coat as the stallion surged forward through the rain. Wind whipped her face, but for the first time in years, her fear was mixed with something else, hope. The man didn't speak. He didn't ask who she was or what she had done. He simply rode, guiding the horse with expert calm. Behind them, shouts faded. When they reached a rocky canyon, he pulled the horse to a stop beneath an overhang, protected from the storm. He dismounted, then held his arms out to help her down, not touching her until she nodded. His restraint startled her. Most men she knew took what they wanted. This one asked without words. She stepped down, shivering. He removed his coat and draped it over her shoulders. "Fire," he said quietly, pointing to dry brush tucked beneath the rocks. "You're shaking." She found her voice. "You're not going to take me back." He paused, studying her. Lightning lit the shadows, revealing sharp features softened only by a deep sadness in his eyes. "I don't return people," he finally said. "I rescue them." For a moment, neither spoke. The silence wrapped around them like a blanket. Elena turned away and wept, not from fear, but from relief she didn't yet understand. She had run to escape a prison. Instead, she had crossed into the territory of a man with no chains. And that terrified her even more. By morning, the storm had passed, but Elena's heart still thundered. The cowboy, who introduced himself only as Cole, was saddling the horse again. "We ride," he said. "There's a place no law touches." Elena hesitated. "Why help me? You don't even know my name." Cole didn't look at her as he cinched the saddle. "Because once, someone helped me." His voice held a pain she dared not probe. But curiosity tugged at her. This man was no outlaw, yet he clearly lived outside everyone's rules. As they rode through the canyon, she finally spoke. "My father promised me to a baron. I told them I would rather die than marry a man who sees me as livestock." Cole's jaw tightened slightly. "Then you were right to run." Something in his tone shifted. It wasn't sympathy, it was understanding. As though he, too, had once been trapped. They rode until the landscape opened into a valley hidden between two cliffs, a secret world of pine, river, and sky untouched by towns or sheriffs. Cole dismounted and helped her down gently. "This is my land," he said simply. Her breath caught. She had expected a shack. Instead, a sturdy cabin sat nestled by a river. It was peaceful, safe, but when she turned to thank him, she found him staring not at her, but at the horizon. As though he were waiting for the past to follow them. That night, the crackle of fire filled the cabin. Elena sat wrapped in a wool blanket while Cole stirred a pot of stew. The silence between them was no longer heavy, it was steady, like a heartbeat. "I wasn't always alone," Cole finally said, eyes fixed on the flames. "I had a wife. She died because I couldn't protect her." He paused. "Since then, I swore never to let another soul be taken against their will." His confession settled deep inside her. "Then I am in your debt." "No," he said firmly. "You owe me nothing. You're free to leave when you choose." The word free tasted strange on her tongue. Just as she lifted the spoon to her lips, a sharp howl split the night. "Not wolves. Men." Cole stood instantly, his expression turning to stone. He grabbed his rifle. Elena's heart seized. "They found me," she whispered. He turned, meeting her eyes with unshakable resolve. "No," he said. "They found me. Torches flickered outside as several riders emerged from the darkness. At their head was the Baron, rich, merciless, certain of victory. "Return what is mine," he called out, voice dripping with arrogance. Cole stepped forward, rifle in hand, rein glistening on his broad shoulders. "She belongs to no one," he said. The Baron laughed. "Do you plan to die for her?" Cole's voice was quiet. "I already died. The day I let someone be taken from me. It will not happen again." A hush fell. Behind him, Elena stepped out and placed her hand on his arm, not in fear, but in strength. "I choose to stay," she said loud enough for all to hear. In that moment, everything changed. She was not a runaway. She was not a prisoner. She was his partner in a fate they would face together. The Baron's men hesitated. None wished to test the eyes of a man who had nothing left to lose, and everything left to protect. As the riders turned away, disappearing into the storm, Cole finally exhaled. Elena looked at him, and for the first time, the cowboy smiled, soft, real, and full of a future neither had dared to dream. Their story hadn't ended. It had just begun.